Hello, it's Gail here. What shall we start with? We'll start with crocheting, I think. Now, the crochet cardigan that I did for my granddaughter is finished and given away. They wanted it, so I have got photographs, and I've worked out that I can get them on my Kindle and show you from there. So let's see if I can do it. A photograph of the finished article, if I can find it. Is it up here or down there? Oh, it's down there. Here we are. Hopefully it will come up. Yeah, there we are. Oh, it's a bit reflective, isn't it? Let's turn that off for now. There. That's the finished cardigan. And that's it. A different photo. And oh, this is a bit heavier than I'm used to holding. And there it is, straight on. Now, I did use a different stitch around the buttonholes and things. I used slip stitch, which I've never used before, as part of a crochet design. Usually I do it just for joining things. Now, I've got some pictures of her wearing it. Now, she is sat in what looks like a drawer full of toys, because I don't go around there. So there she is, sat wearing it in her seemingly drawer of toys. I only see her on Sundays when she gets brought to mine. And there she is. And see how, look at that excellent length of the sleeves, and the cuff on the sleeves is slip stitch as well. Isn't she gorgeous? And I think I've got a picture on here of my grandson with his jumper on, if I can find that without, you know, me taking too long. Oh, that's the wrong way again. I don't often look at the pictures on here. Yeah, so that's all finished anyway. Oh, we're getting nearer. It's taken a while to load because, of course, I'm in my shed and I don't get very good Wi-Fi out here. I'll show you that when it comes up. I have started crocheting the cardigan I want for me. I think I told you I found a cardigan pattern, and I wanted it in mercerized wool, and mercerized wool was, well, cotton, mercerized cotton was too much money. It wasn't, you know, I mean, it was going to cost £45 to buy me just the wool. Anyway, I found something that was similar in a fair enough colour for me to buy. So here's the wool. That's nice, isn't it? I did want something a bit more purpley, but there you go. And this is acrylic, but it's called Soft and Silky. So it's got a bit of a, can you see the bit of a sheen on it? Makes it look a bit like cotton, and it'll wash fine. So I went all out and got 10 balls of that, because I've no idea how much I need, because it's all a bit of guesswork, isn't it? Still not up. This is the pattern I chose, but it's only a pattern of the actual pieces. That I don't want to make a little tiny jumper. No, I want to make a long cardigan that, you know, goes past my bottom. So this is what it looks like crocheted. So I can do one of them fairly quickly now that I've got used to the pattern. I've done about 12. And it says to join it on this bit here and these bits here, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to think of some other way to finish it off. But, you know, I've got, I don't know how many to make. Lots. When I've done lots, I'll work out how many more I need to do. Right, so where's this jumper picture? Not up yet. So that's me crocheting. I also got this. I saw this on Sewing Street and I thought, gosh, that would be so much easier to make the Union Jacks. So I have not tried it yet, but it's a Union Jack pattern. It's you know, foundation paper piecing where you do it backwards. And I think that will be much easier than the method I've been using. So we're going to give that a try. So I bought that pattern. Oh, we've got more pictures loaded. I just don't know where to find the ones with his jumper on, because how long ago was it that I gave it him? No, it was further away than that. He wears it quite often, which, you know, is a big success, because he won't wear things. Now, this is one of my birthday presents. It was my birthday last week, and as usual, well, he bought me a bottle of wine and 3 birthday cards. He's full of ideas, you know. It's because I told him I didn't want any chocolates. I was sick of having chocolates. You know, when you're diabetic, you don't really want chocolates, do you? It's not good for you. So I got a bottle of wine instead. And he keeps putting it in the fridge. He's driving me mad. I keep saying to him, red wine doesn't go in the fridge. I tell him every week. Oh yeah, I forgot. His memory is not good at all, really. Well, yeah. This is one of my birthday presents. It's lovely, isn't it? It's crocheting. That's a crocheted flower. It's a Toft. I've got lots of Toft books and Toft patterns. I don't rarely make anything. I think I made a lizard, but it's full of patterns for you know, for flowers. It's a lovely book. These are all the flowers. Well, not all of them. I think most of them on the back. And I have been collecting these patterns before she put them in a book, but there's ones I haven't got in the book. So I'm very pleased about that. Came out on the 13th of April. So I got it. Bought it for myself for my birthday. Lots of flowers. You know, I was telling you last week about a quilt that I had to extend. Here we are. This is it. These are the flying geese I put around the edge, and this used to be the border. So see how much bigger I made it. It occurred to me I could show you photographs. I just can't find the one of him in his jumper. Well, I'm sure I'll be able to find it somewhere. It is in there. Anyway, I got a parcel delivery today from my lady that sells Modent. Now, I've got these as end of rolls, so they're a good deal on the end of roll. No, that's not it. Here he is. Now, I'm going to show you one without his head. I don't think he wants his face in. So I don't know how to hide his head. I've got one where he's looking right down there. There we are. That's his nice bum warming jumper that his granny crocheted with all the sticky balls stuck on. He was quite pleased to find that you know, the sticky balls would stick on, and then it was a bonus that he discovered they would stick on my my curtains. Anyway, we'll close that. And I'm showing you these fabrics I got. Now, this is a Moda Solid, a plain Moda Solid. I think I got 2 meters of that, and it was cheap, so I thought I can use that, you know, as a plain in some pattern or other. And this one is grunge. Now, I keep calling it aubergine, but it's not aubergine, it's something else. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? It's a lovely purple. And I got, I don't know, 2 or 3 meters of that. So cheap, you know, I only buy it if it's money knocked off. Same with food. Sometimes we go for ages without the food we like because it's not cheap enough. And also in the parcel was a ½ yard of this, which is part of this range. Now, I've just got it out. I've not looked at them all. It's Bleu de France, and it's part of the French General range, which is you know, the fabric I've been using for this. This is my first quarter done. I've quilted it. You see the quilting stitches, my big quilting stitches. So this is done. Well, it's nearly finished. And then I can put together my next quarter. Now I was going, here we are. Now here That's a knot. That's where I start my fabric, my stitches. And when I've stitched the whole length, I pull this so that it comes out of the fabric. I cut the end off and in it goes. Just thought I would show you how I start off. And I've got an ending somewhere that's sticking out that I thought I'll save that and show people how I sort my ends out, my end of my sewing, which seems to be lost. Let's have a look. So on the back I've pieced together, here we are. Here's a beginning, which I pull, cut, and it disappears in. And this is an ending, which I've threaded away from where I've been sewing. Pull it, oops, cut it, and in it goes, hidden away, nice and safe in the fabric, the wadding. So this is it. That's the first quarter quilted, and this is the back. I'm not going to do any pattern to the back, it's just using some of the fabrics, because over the years I've discovered you very rarely have anything to do with the back. You know, some I've done with really pretty backs, and occasionally I turn them over and put them on the bed, but I prefer the fronts because you know, the fronts are the patterns and the thing that you work with. Let's see if I can move this so that we can have a look at a corner. Seems to be pretty fairly stuck. Oh, let's try a bit harder. So it's by French General, who did the red range. They very often do a red one. I've got another one, I think, somewhere. I'm not going to waste time looking for it now. But anyway, this is all blues. Now, I have got a kit hidden away in the back of Beyond somewhere, where you cut, you know, you do it English paper piecing, so you need the cardboard, and they're diamond shapes. So you fussy cut the diamond shapes and make something lovely. So I think I'm going to buy a few pieces of this so that I can make the quilt bigger, because I know the kit is lovely, but it wasn't for it was more for a wall hanging, and I like things on my bed. So maybe I'll order that. That's nice, isn't it? Might order that one. I'll see if I can narrow it down to 2 or 3, because I need some, you know, repetition. So it's got greys in it, kind of fawn colours, are they? What do you call it? And it goes back to the blues. It's mostly blues. I haven't made a blue quilt, so I think this is going to be very nice, isn't it? But the other quilt that I bought the kit for is cream and blue, so I think the ones at the beginning, oh, that's nice, will be very nice. Anyway, I've got that came. Is that everything I was going to show you? That seems to have gone by very quickly, doesn't it? Maybe this is going to be a short video this week. So yes, it was my birthday last week, and I had a lovely time. My daughters, because my youngest daughter was still up, she went home the next day, so they came round with their children and a cake and sang happy birthday to me and everything, and that was lovely. My husband was at work. He left me with a bunch of flowers and some wine, you know, as if I'm a great wine drinker. Anyway, yeah, well, that was nice, spending till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon with the grandchildren and the children, and, you know, all the havoc and the chaos that they cause. The next day I went out with my friend, who is back from her tour of Australia, New Zealand and Thailand, and we went out and had afternoon tea. So that was good. Lots of catching up, lots of chatting away, and an afternoon tea as well. I mean, what more could a person ask for? And what else to do? Oh, on the next day, it was my session, my go at my quilting club. It was my talk on my feed sack quilts. Now I'll show you my feed sack quilts. I know Cynthia is interested in seeing those. I collected them a long time ago and I've forgotten a lot of the things I knew in those days. But you know, my talk, I bladdered on and everybody was very interested. Some people never having heard of them before, and some of the fabrics I've got are lovely. I've got one quilt that's not quilted. I bought it as a quilt and I pulled it to pieces and washed it and threw away the innards, which was a bit of chenille, I think, chenille tablecloth or curtains or something. Anyway, I threw that away and I thought I will use instead pure cotton wadding, because you know they didn't have polyester and they didn't use bamboo in those days, did they? So I bought some 100% cotton wadding, and this was 30 years ago, and I couldn't sew through it. It made that noise, you know, that cotton wool balls do when you squish them. No, so I couldn't quilt through it, and in those days I used to do little tiny stitches, you know, so I gave up on that, and it's just stuffed in a bag somewhere. Anyway, last week I dug it out, breaking 3 nails. I've had to cut all my fingernails short. I've got nail varnish for my birthday off one of my friends, a whole set of nail varnishes and nail buffers and equipment files and things. My friends know me so well, you know. I love afternoon teas and I love nail varnishes and doing my nails, although I only do it myself. I wouldn't pay all that money to go to a nail varnish place. My nails aren't that nice. But, you know, I like putting nail varnish on. I very often melt it in when I'm doing the washing up, you know. Does that mean, do you think, I've not put my light back on. I'm doing the washing up in water that's too hot. How does that look? That look better? Am I looking brighter? The last video, I was watching it because I do watch them. I quite like watching the videos I do. I don't know if that makes me extra weird, but they make me laugh. I thought, oh, look, a funny colour. I thought, I'm going to have to put more makeup on. It looked really blotchy. I looked a funny colour. I think it was the last one. Anyway, I've had blood tests recently, as you know, and the results came back, and my bilirubin is very high. So that's why I look a funny colour. I have to put more makeup on to cover the bilirubin yellow that kind of is in my skin. They don't care. They've decided I've got Gilbert's syndrome. I used to call it Gilbert syndrome, but I went to see a consultant the other year about something else, and she told me it was Gilbert, a Frenchman. Gilbert's syndrome, which you just have to live with excess bilirubin because your liver doesn't cope with it very well. But it doesn't. I mean, it can make you ill. Yeah, it can make you feel sick and pretty under the weather, which is one of the reasons I went to the doctor in the first place. But there's nothing they can do. My liver's working fine. It's just not coping very well with all the bilirubin, so I look a bit yellow for a bit. My daughter's got it as well. You know, when my daughter was diagnosed, which was probably 10 years ago, and I read up all about it like you do, and it said that it was most often diagnosed in your youth, in your early 20s or your teenage years, and as she was, and I thought, how interesting, because when I was about 18 or so, I was very ill for a long time with what they kept telling me was suspected something or other. It might come to me, but they kept calling it suspected because it kept coming back negative, the tests. Something to do with the liver. Gosh, you can't rely on my brain anymore, you know. I would look it up on my phone, but you know, that's you're on my phone, so anyway, and I've not eaten. I have a very fat-free diet, really. I haven't had anything fried since then. I don't eat things like chicken legs because they're too fatty, and I bet that's what it was. I bet there wasn't anything. Well, there was something wrong with me. I was very ill, and they knew it was something to do with my liver, but they didn't say, oh, it's Gilbert syndrome, don't worry, you'll get over it in a bit. And it recurs when it wants, you know, but I bet that's what it was, instead of keep testing me and saying it was suspected, whatever it was. It's what they thought I had was a virus. I can't remember what it's called though. It'll come to me at some point, you know, like when I'm in the middle of having a bath or something. I'll suddenly remember. Yeah, so why am I telling you that? Oh yes, that's why I was a funny colour. So you can look back on the other videos and see if you can tell my funny colouring. So I've got different makeup on today that I hope covers it up. Yes, so I got those blood test results back. And I'm also apparently very low in folic acid. They called it something else, but really it's folic acid, vitamin B9, although it's not a vitamin. And I thought to myself, oh, well, I'll just, because these are the results the doctor sent me. I'm not actually seeing the doctor. Well, I'm not seeing the doctor. I'm having a phone call on the 17th of May. So, about the blood test results and stuff. So I looked up, you know, shortness of folic acid. And it causes something I was talking to the doctor about. Acid reflux. I suffer quite often, not all the time, but quite often with terrible acid reflux. Wakes me up in the middle of the night. And it's given me all sorts of things for my stomach. You know, these antacid lansoprazole type things, and a big bottle of Gaviscon type stuff and everything. And really I was thinking, well, you know, I know that antacids and things make it better, but really I'd rather not have it. Well, apparently a lack of folic acid causes acid reflux. It also causes something else. Oh, breathlessness. I'm very breathless. Can't go anywhere without having to stop and get my breath. Something to do with your blood. It makes your blood very big, and very big blood cells don't carry enough oxygen, apparently. And they say to take the supplements for 4 months, and by that time your blood has recycled, you know, all your blood is new over 4 months. Renews itself, and by then it should be smaller if you're taking the supplements, and you get less breathless. So we'll see how that goes on. So I was quite pleased that I looked that up. So I'm busy taking folic acid, and we'll see if my acid reflux completely goes away. That will be very nice, because you know it when it's up in your esophagus, you think, you read about the acid burning through, you know, and I don't want any of that. So I've also bought some apple cider vinegar as well, which is supposed to be very, very good for it. But this is my second bottle. My first bottle went out of date because I'm not very brave. I'm a bit worried about having a drink of vinegar, even if it is apple cider. It might be horrible. But I am going to try this now because, you know, it's not cheap. It's not too expensive. I think it was £6 for the bottle with the mother in. Anyway, I've got to mix it with water and drink it. So I'll have to get around to that because I don't want to waste even more money, do I? So I have been quite naughty this week buying fabric. I can't pay for it until my husband's been paid. So I'll pay for it next week. So next video, you never know, you might see it. But the lady at Fabric Treasures for the UK, Sheila, who runs it and only sells Moda. I've said before that we get the catalogue when the new catalogue comes out, and we choose things that we want. And you have to like promise, you know, it's a deal with her, an agreement. She orders it and you pay when it comes, and sometimes it takes 5 or 6 months. Anyway, I wanted this range called Jolie, and she couldn't get it. She decided not to order that one, so I thought, but I didn't need it, did I? Anyway, last week she got a whole load of fat quarter stacks of different ranges in, and she had a fat quarter stack of Jolie, and I bought it. I thought, oh, it's a good job it's my birthday, that gives me an excuse. So I've got 20 fat quarters coming. Can't wait. It was lovely. So that was an added bonus. I mean, I would never have bought a fat quarter stack. I would have got, you know, one of these, which is called a layer cake, 10 inches square. I would have bought one of them probably. Oh, is that it? Here, you know, I was just saying that blue set. This here is by the same people. You can see this is the sort that I'm making this hourglass quilt from, and this is one that they brought out in blue colours. I knew I had one somewhere. It's up there on my pile. Yeah, so I ordered a fat quarter stack, which, you know, I wouldn't normally have bought, but it was my birthday. And I also there was a range that I'd ordered and she couldn't get hold of it, because it's very difficult now that we're not part of Europe, and there's restrictions on all sorts of things and extra charges. We're not getting as much fabric from America as we used to, and it has to be ordered by these sellers, the shops and things, rather than them just sending it over and saying, do you want this? So she couldn't get hold of this range I'd said I wanted, and she got some of that as well, but she didn't have the layer cake, which is what I'd ordered. So I bought 4 5-inch charm packs, which of course makes up a layer cake, because they're 10 inches square. So hopefully I'm going to have them in the next few weeks. And that's, I can't remember what it's called, that range. It's lovely. It's all floral and watercolour. So I'm going to have to find a pattern. Although, you know, I'm not going to make it for God knows how long, am I? Because everything, I can't do everything all at once. So I'm doing these now at the moment because I'm waiting for my younger daughter, who lives far away, to measure her son. I've asked her to measure his chest, the length that she wants his jumper to be, and the measurement from his neck to his wrist. So as far as I'm aware, she hasn't done that yet. So I'm doing this crocheting and I'm doing my quilting, but I can't do my quilting non-stop because the big needle that I use makes my fingers hurt. They're a bit arthritis-y now, my hands, which is why I bought the sewing machine, because I thought I'm not going to be able to sew by hand forever, am I, when bits of me start hurting all the time. So I can't do this all the time. I do it for maybe an hour, sometimes 2 hours. And because you need a bit of power, you know, to shove the big needle through, but it's just so much quicker than spending months doing it, isn't it? I made a quilt for my daughter for Christmas a few years back. She asked me for a green leafy quilt covered in hand quilting, and I made it before Christmas, and I thought, well, I've got to get it all hand quilted, and I did like a square foot of quilting. I timed myself and how big the quilt was and everything. It took me 210 hours. 210 hours to quilt it. It was lovely. I do like doing quilting. It just takes too much effort, too much time, and I had to do a certain amount every day. And if suppose I had to do 3 of the square feet a day to get it done by Christmas, if I did 4, I was really excited, because that meant I could have a lesser day doing it the next day. Oof. Anyway, I got it done for Christmas, which is, you know, quite an achievement for me to get things done on time. And yeah, she's been nice and warm under that since. Although, you know, unless somebody asked me to do that, I wouldn't do that. I mean, 210, can you imagine if I like charged her for that? That was just for the quilting, never mind the putting together and the cost of the fabric. She chose the fabrics. It was in lockdown, and I sent her photographs of all the green fabrics I had, and she sent back rejects or ticks, you know, about which one she wanted in it. And I pieced together this quilt, and then I spent 210 hours quilting it. That hurt my fingers as well, but in a different way. Anyway, that's why I do big quilting, because that, you know, I can do that in a few days. Maybe 4, that size. Maybe 2 weeks for a full size one, if I've got nothing else to do. So yeah, I'm doing that. That's what I'm doing in the evenings, and I'm fairly much doing it in the day as well. I don't know what I'm doing in the day. Planning. Planning things, yeah. See, I've got this out to make my cardigan. It's full of crochet motifs, and I was thinking, oh, I don't need a pattern. I can just choose a motif, and these are round ones, hexagon ones, and they had square ones, and I thought I'll just make some of these and do my own cardigan, which I could. But when I saw that pattern, oh yes, I bought another pattern as well. I just remembered, because it's in the same packet. So that's the pattern. And oh, what else I bought? Isn't that cute? I got them. I thought my daughter's dogs are. She's got a greyhound and a Jack Russell. There he is. That's him when he was a puppy. And so I thought I would make one. I would try and make the face the same, you know. I don't know when I'm going to have time to do that. Oh, and I was going to bring the patterns in. They might be here somewhere, but I don't know. They're not in the house anymore. I sent my husband in with some bags. Are they in there? They might be in here. Okay. I've also, from my quilt group, there was a lady there. Hi, because she's probably going to watch. Lorna, and she's got a family member has left her a half-made quilt. It's English paper piece in hexagons, so I said I would finish it for her, and then we're going to see if we can raise some money for charity. Anyway, here's the 3 patterns of the dresses I bought to make nice dresses for my granddaughter. So I've got that one and that one. I'm probably going to mix and match these. Isn't that one lovely? I love the, you know, the bodice line here. It's lovely. So, and that one's got sleeves. So, because really, all you need is you know, the sleeve that fits in the armhole. You can alter the length any way you want. That one, of course, is sleeveless. Oh, that one's got sleeves as well. Anyway, they were half price, so I bought them. And, you know, as usual, just filling up my shed with too many things to do that I won't ever get round to finishing, probably. But we'll see anyway, won't we? We'll see how I do. So I'm going to layer up another quilt now, another quarter of the quilt, to get some more quilting done. So, you know, in a few weeks, I'll show you how to get the 4 quarters sewn together into a whole quilt. And then, of course, that will be put away waiting for the borders. And I don't know how long this cardigan's going to take me. I've not finished that blanket yet. Although there has been something positive. You know, the one where I'm blocking the tile shapes that go like that. And I realised a few months ago, that I had to do the ends. I found the wool. I was thinking, what have I done with the wool? I knew I hadn't thrown it away. Anyway, I found it. So I can do something without having to worry about what colour wool to use. So I think I shall be off and go and get something to eat. I've just been looking in the fridge to see what's out of date, and nothing is, so I have a choice. That will be fun. I don't know what I'm going to choose, but it'll probably be with carrots or cabbage, something like that. I'm going to have to switch over soon, aren't we, when summer comes, and I'll be having salad with things instead of cabbage and things. The birds are singing outside. My pear tree is in full bloom. Can't see any flowers on the apple tree yet. Usually all the flowers on the apple tree get, you know, blown off. We usually have rainy or windy weather when that starts up. It's bigger than the house. We need to do something about it. It's not, I mean, you know, if the apples were edible. I mean, I did think, a long time ago about, you know, getting an apple press and just having lots of apple juice. You can freeze it and everything. But then I can't drink juice being diabetic. And I'm afraid I don't want anyone else to drink it because I'd be way jealous. It used to be my drink of choice. Orange juice and soda water. Lovely. And I would probably drink 3 pints of that a day. It's probably what made me diabetic, I think. Yeah, my results for my diabetes on my blood tests. Fine, I'm still in tight control. I don't know how long I've been doing that now. 10, 12 years maybe. And there I am eating biscuits because it goes too low and I get very ill when it goes low. The lowest it's been, I didn't, and that was at that point when it was that low, and I couldn't even, my husband made me a sandwich and I couldn't even chew it. I managed to get a piece of sandwich in my mouth, but I couldn't chew it. You know, you're on the way to unconsciousness. And that's when I bought my blood testing kit. So I only test when I feel ill. I don't worry about it. I know how to control things. But if I feel ill, I think, is it my blood sugar or you know, am I really ill? And I'm usually really ill. Or it's something else anyway. Occasionally, it has been my blood sugar. And that's why we have lots of oranges. I squeeze an orange and I have some orange juice because that is just pure sugar once you've squeezed it. I have the glucose tablets all around the house as well. It's easily remedied, really. But it gives you a very high peak in your blood sugar. So it goes right up and then it comes right down. So it goes down very quick. So if you don't eat something that's slow metabolizing, you end up in the same position half an hour later. So, you know, I eat bread afterwards, sandwich or a piece of toast. You're not really capable of doing anything apart from sitting and drinking tea and eating toast anyway, because it really leaves you exhausted, really. Anyway, that's beside the point. I don't even know. Oh, because my blood tests of my blood sugar are fine, the same as they have been for years, so I don't need to worry about that. I don't know what my husband's are. He just eats what he wants. The other day I said to him, what have you eaten today? Because I have to interrogate him. And he says he had a sausage butty for breakfast, and then at lunchtime he had apple pie and custard. I mean, how sensible is that? Not at all. He said he was still hungry, so he did have some, like a sandwich afterwards. But you don't have apple pie and custard for your dinner, do you? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go now and get some things done. And I'll talk to you again soon. I hope this leaves you well. Bye.